Hey everyone, welcome back to Age and Education channel. Today we shall look into the chapter Agriculture. I know that you all are aware of this term agriculture, but today we shall look into the definition of agriculture and what are all the scientific processes associated with this term agriculture, right? So, first of all, what is agriculture? It is the science or practice of what? Of cultivating plants and rearing animals. So, the popular perception or what we know usually is that agriculture is associated with plants, but the other thing agriculture is associated with is of rearing animals too, right? So, agriculture means both cultivating plants and rearing animals. So, why science here? You might think that it is so easy, right? Like plants, we grow so many plants in our balcony and it is as easy as it, right? No, it is not as easy as it looks like, because if it is for one or two plants, then it may be easy. But if I'm speaking about a crop, like so many number of plants of the same type grown on a large scale, then it is very difficult. Until and unless you have some scientifically proven steps to be followed, you cannot expect a good produce to come out, right? So first of all, what is the meaning of crop? Here I have mentioned the word crop. Crop means plants of same kind, right? Plants of same kind cultivated in large scale, right? So farmers does this, right? What do the farmers do? They cultivate the crops, right, in a large scale, and that produce is sent out into the markets for us to use it. So how do you use the products of the agriculture? You can use it for food, right? You'll get food and other useful products, what else you will use the agriculture for? Just I'm leaving it for you. You think about it. What are the uses of the output of agriculture, right? You can use it for food, fiber, and many other useful products. Now, just give me a list of what are all the useful products that can be derived from the agriculture. All that I want it in the comments, right? You should also think. If I say everything to you, then you won't think, right? So think about it and give me all the useful products that can be obtained from this process of agriculture. All right. So what do the farmer do here for this scientific process of agriculture? He prepares the soil, he will plant the seeds, he will have to put some water, he have to protect his crop from all the pests and insects that come and eat up the crop, right? And he'll have to give proper amount of minerals for the crop so that the produce will be good, right? There are so many steps that are involved in this process of agriculture, and we shall look into all these in detail. Okay. All right, before getting into the steps of agriculture, we shall first ask some basic questions about agriculture. As why is it important to know about agriculture? And since when this concept of agriculture come into picture? Was it there when humans appeared for the first time on the planet? Or did it develop eventually later? Right? All these questions you have to answer, you should think about. When I have to answer this question, I'll say that no, it was not there from the beginning. The human being have learned this process through experimentation, or rather on a trial and error basis, right? So they came to know that with this agriculture they can lead a settled life, right? The agriculture will give them a settled life. Previously, the human beings used to always go around the places to find the food, right? They used to depend on the plants and animals that were there, and they used to go for hunting the animals and finding the food, and they used to roam here and there, right? So they always used to be on their toes. But when this agriculture, when they learned this science of agriculture, then they started staying at a place, right, where there is adequate water. They'll stay there, they'll happily cultivate the plants, and they have the food security, and they can lead a comfortable life in a single place, right. So agriculture gave them so many benefits, right. From previously running around the forest, they started staying at a place, right. And while they're running around the forest, there was always this like concerns of safety, right. They might be attacked by some animals. All these things can be avoided by leading a settled life where their people, their set of people will be with them, right. So there are so many advantages of agriculture, uh, and that you can see even currently. Now it will be like, you would think, what is there in that, what is so much great about agriculture? Nothing. No, there is so much great about agriculture. You should always understand that, right. At that time, the lives of people were changed drastically because of agriculture. It's because they were able to lead settled life, and that went on, and we have reached a stage where we are living so comfortable lives because of this concept of agriculture. Now why is it important, right? So at that time, the importance I have already mentioned, but now why it is important to understand about agriculture? It is because it is giving us food security, right? What is it? Food security. That is, if we won't have enough crops, enough food crops for us, then we'll have to depend on other nations, right, for the food. Yes or no? So once you are even for the basic things, if you start depending upon other countries, then how the things would be, it would be very bad, right? For the basic things, at least we should have our own ways to acquire it. So our systematic processes and everything are so important to be learned. It's because we can have food security. Okay, so the first why is for the food security, and the second why is that even for the industries, for the raw materials and all that, we will use the products from this agriculture, right? For the food security, it means for the food purposes, right? For a human being to sustain himself, we need food, and for that aspect we need agriculture. Agriculture as a concept of scientific process, to get a good produce, we need food security, we need agriculture, right? And also from agriculture we get raw materials, right? And these raw materials will be used in industries, and with the development of industries we would flourish. It means that our country will see development, right? So for the economic development too, we need this concept of agriculture to be learnt. All right, so now we understood as why we should learn agriculture too. So with all this we can go forward, and I hope this has given curiosity for you to learn what are the processes of agriculture, right? So we will get into the step by step process, and we will see into it. Okay, now about the agriculture, as I have mentioned, there are some series of steps, right? What are those steps? Just think, what is the first thing that I have told you, mentioned at that time? I mentioned that it involves preparation of soil. What is it? Preparation of soil. After preparation of the soil, what you will do? Sowing of seeds, right? So after you sow, will you keep quiet? No, no. You will have to give them water. It means you should think about irrigation, irrigating the fields, right? And after that, the other important thing is protecting, right? So once you give water, you should always think about protecting the crop from weeds, right? Then what else? Tell me. Weeds and other pests. Okay, then what we have to do? We'll have to harvest the crop and later store the crop, right? So all these steps are involved in this process of agriculture, that is about cultivating plants, right? For cultivating plants, we have to go through all this, that is preparation of soil, sowing of seeds, irrigating, protecting weeds and protecting the plant from the weeds and pests, right? Not protecting weeds and pests, protecting the plants from weeds and pests. Okay? Then harvesting and also storing the crop, right? Now, before this, as I have mentioned, farmers also need some, not also, it is very important that farmers need to have knowledge about the seasons and the weather patterns. Why do they have to know about the seasons and weather patterns? It is because not all the plants are same. Each plant requires different type of weather conditions, right? So some plants will grow better in rainy season, and some plants will grow better in hot climates, and some in humid climates, and some in warm climates, and some needs more water, and some plants need less water. So it all depends upon the plant type, and so this association of which plant needs what and that what comes in what season, everything should be known by the farmer, right? So for this reason, he should have ample knowledge in the seasons and the weather patterns, and also about the plants as such, as which plant needs what type of climatic conditions, right? So with this knowledge itself, a farmer can actually get a better produce. Okay, so if I have to give some what do you call, some types of crops, we can popularly say there are two types of crops: kharif crops and rabi crops. So what are these kharif crops? Kharif crops are also called as monsoon crops, right? It means that the sowing season for these crops are in between June to September. That is wherein you will have more rains, right? So when I'm saying more rains, monsoon crops, it itself means that the crops that are grown here would need more amount of water, right? These crops need more water. So what are the crops that needs more water? Yes, does anyone know? It's rice, soya beans, maize, groundnuts. All these need lots and lots of water, right? So these are called as monsoon crops or kharif crops, and they will be sown in between June to September. And what are the other type of crops? The other type is called as rabi crop, right? So what about this rabi crop? It is grown in winters, right? In winters. And what are the examples? Wheat, gram, peas. All these are examples of rabi crop, or also called as winter crops. Alright. So here you can understand that some crops need some type of climates and other crop needs other types of climates. So based upon the season, the farmer will choose to what type of crop he has to grow in that field. Okay, nice. And also see, it doesn't end up here as such. I'm limiting the things here because you will get confused, but he will have to see as what soil he has in his field and how good are the rains there, and it's like, you know, many things come together for him, for the farmer to choose as which crop he has to put in his field. So as such, it is truly a science, and it needs lot of scientific aspects to be taken into consideration, and all these things will have to be checked out by a farmer, right? So it's a great thing to be a farmer, right? Also, okay, now we shall look into the processes, right? All right, what is the first step here in the process of agriculture? It is preparation of soil. So what does this preparation of the soil mean? It doesn't mean that you are preparing the soil. It means that you are preparing the soil for the purpose of sowing the seeds. So what does this involve? It involves the process of turning up the soil. What is it? Turning up the soil in order to loosen it, right? So why do we need to do this? It is because if you loosen up the soil, the penetration of the roots into the soil would be better, right? Penetration of roots into the soil would be better. And you know, roots are so important, right? For the plant, it will give the plant the water, minerals, and it will anchor the plant. So you cannot undermine the importance of this roots, right? So it is very important that you make an effective soil that can help the penetration of the roots better, right? So here we loosen up the soil so that the roots will penetrate better. And then for the roots to breathe. Why is it so? Why would the roots be able to breathe better when you loosen up the soil? When you loosen up the soil, what happens? There will be some space that will come up in between the soil particles, and this space will be filled with air, right? The roots will be using this air to breathe. Okay, so what is the other reason for this? The other reason would be for the growth of earthworms and microbes. So earthworms and microbes, these earthworms are called as farmer's friend. Why are these called farmer's friend? They are called so because they help in providing nutrients and humus to the plants, right? What these earthworms do, they will decompose the dead waste that has fallen onto the ground and so provide the nutrients and humus to the plants, and this is very important for the healthy development of the plant, right? So we can see that loosening up of the soil has these many benefits, right? Now this process of preparation of the soil has one other name, one official name. What is it? This process is called as tilling and ploughing. What is it? Tilling and ploughing. So for this there are some types of equipments, right, that will help us to do this process, and those are called as plough, hoe or cultivator, right? Cultivator is totally mechanized, right? So it will not make the farmer shed so much of effort in doing this process of ploughing, right? Alright, now actually I should get into details of plough, hoe and cultivator, but this would make this video lengthy. I don't want to again pull this video more. What I'll do is tomorrow I'll give a quick revision about all these about this first step of preparation of the soil, and then I'll continue with this and the other steps. Okay, so for now what you can do, you will have to get through all the processes, right, all the processes that are involved in agriculture, so that it would be easy for you to understand tomorrow when I get into the details of these steps. Alright, now if you feel like this video is useful to you, consider subscribing to the channel and pressing a like button, right? Okay, then see you. We will look into the other chapters tomorrow. Alright, bye.